Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into one of the most, truly remarkable turnaround stories in green energy. We're talking about how Indian wind giant Suzlon went from being on the very brink of collapse to becoming a powerhouse in the renewable boom. And we're going to go inside the numbers to see exactly how they did it.
All right, check this out. This one line, right from Suzlon's latest investor report, pretty much tells you everything you need to know. A net cash position of almost 2,000 crore rupees. Now, just to put that in perspective, that's about 20 billion rupees. And what's wild is that just a few years back, this company was basically drowning in debt. So you see, this isn't just getting a little better. No, this is a complete, fundamental flip from owing a ton of money to sitting on a really significant pile of cash.
So, the big question is, right, how on earth did this happen? Well, that's what we're here to do. We're going to unpack the story that they're telling their investors, and we're basing this whole explainer on their official report to really understand the strategy behind this, frankly, explosive growth.
Okay, first, a quick but really important note before we dive in. All the info you're about to see comes straight from Suzlon's public presentation, and that means it includes their own forward-looking statements, which, are their projections, not guarantees. We're breaking this down just for informational purposes, and this is definitely not investment advice. All right, with that out of the way, let's get into it.
So, the first chapter in this whole comeback saga is just a stunning financial turnaround. And the numbers, they aren't just good, they are absolutely staggering. Okay, get this. If there's one number that just perfectly captures this comeback, it's this, 190%. That's the year-over-year jump in their net profit. We're not talking about a small bump here. The company's bottom line didn't just inch up, it nearly tripled in a single year, hitting over 2,000 crore rupees. That is the kind of explosive growth that makes absolutely everyone sit up and pay attention. And you can really see it here. This bar chart, wow, it just puts that leap into perfect perspective. Look at that jump from 660 crore in fiscal 24 to over 2,000 crore just 1 year later. That is a classic hockey stick curve. It shows you this recovery wasn't slow and steady. It was incredibly fast.
So you gotta ask, where did all that profit come from? Well, this wasn't some kind of financial trickery. Nope, it was pure operational muscle. All that profitability was driven by a massive 118% increase in what they actually do. They more than doubled their wind turbine deliveries, the very core of their business, in just 12 months.
And that just shows you their operational engine was firing on all cylinders. They went from delivering 710 megawatts of turbine capacity all the way up to over 1,500. Think about what that means. It represents a massive, successful ramp-up across their entire operation, from manufacturing and logistics right through to getting these things installed on site.
But here's the really crucial point. A surge like this, it doesn't just happen in a vacuum. This isn't only a story about one company finally getting its house in order. It's about that company being in exactly the right place at exactly the right time, smack in the middle of one of the world's biggest and fastest-growing energy markets.
And this is where the story gets so much bigger. Suzlon is riding a massive green wave, and it's a wave that's being intentionally created by India's own national ambitions.
You see, the government has laid out a really clear roadmap for 2030. And if you look here, when you add up the slices for solar and wind, renewables are projected to make up over half of India's entire energy capacity. Now, if you're a company like Suzlon, that is a crystal clear, government-backed signal of enormous future demand. These super ambitious national goals, they're known as Panchamrit, and they are the engine driving all of this demand. It's a huge commitment on multiple fronts. We're talking hitting 500 gigawatts of non-fossil fuel energy by 2030 and ultimately getting to net zero. This kind of policy creates, a powerful and long-lasting push for the entire renewable sector.
And the potential for growth here is just immense, mainly because the country has barely even scratched the surface. With these modern, taller turbines that can reach up to 150 meters, India has over 1,000 gigawatts of onshore wind potential that's still waiting to be tapped. To give you some context, that's more than 20 times its current installed capacity. The runway here is just huge.
Okay, so this brings us to the how. The market opportunity is obviously massive. We get that. But what is it about Suzlon, specifically, that makes them so perfectly positioned to grab a piece of this pie? Well, the answer, at least according to their report, really lies in two things: their deep-rooted domestic capabilities and a technology that is designed from the ground up for the local market. You see this phrase right here from their report, made in India, made for India. This is so much more than just a catchy slogan. It's really their core strategic advantage. It's talking about their flagship S-144 wind turbine, and it highlights two key things: local manufacturing and its perfect fit for India's unique conditions. In this turbine, it really is the hero of their comeback story. It's custom-built for India's different wind conditions and terrain, and you can see how the markets responded. It's already backed by a huge order book of over 5 gigawatts, and it accounted for the vast majority of all their deliveries last year. Now, beyond just selling new turbines, their operations and maintenance division, or O&M, is an absolutely crucial part of the business. It's super stable. Think of it like this: it's a long-term service contract. For every single turbine they install, they get a steady, recurring revenue stream for years and years. It's no wonder the report calls it an annuity business, because that's exactly what it is. And just how big is that service base? Well, over 30%. That is Suzlon's cumulative market share of all wind capacity ever installed in India. This massive footprint doesn't just make them the #1 player, it also feeds that super stable long-term O&M business we were just talking about. It creates this powerful, repeating revenue stream. All right, so they've got a strong product and a booming market. What does the future look like? For any company that builds things, the answer to that question is always in one place. You look at the order book. As of May 2025, their firm order book is sitting at a staggering 5.6 gigawatts. Now, that isn't just a big number, it is the highest it has ever been in the company's entire history. You should think of it as guaranteed future work, which gives them clear and predictable revenue for years into the future.
And you know, when you dig into this pipeline, it reveals a really important trend. Look at this. The biggest slice, more than half, is coming directly from commercial and industrial customers. That means private companies are now buying wind power for their own factories and offices. And that's a powerful signal that the demand for green energy has gone totally mainstream, way beyond just the government-led project.
So, just to put all of this into context, their order book hasn't just grown a little bit, it has multiplied. We're talking a 7-fold explosion in just over 2 years. That is maybe the single strongest signal of their accelerating momentum and the massive demand they are getting ready to meet. So, there you have it. That's the story Suzlon is telling the market. It's a story of a dramatic financial turnaround, powered by a product built for its home market, all while riding one of the biggest national energy transitions happening anywhere on the planet. And really, the question isn't just about one company's success anymore. As India builds out its green infrastructure at this historic pace, the real question is, what does this mean for the global energy landscape? And just how big can this green wave really get?